I shouldn't have to hit any benchmark, to be honest. I put a lot of work in. I got a lot of respect in this game. I earned the right, to be in closing lineups.
Russell Westbrook, born November 12, 1988. 9-time NBA All-Star, 2-time All-Star Game MVP, League MVP, 2-time All-NBA First Team, 2-time scoring champion, 3-time assist leader, 4 out of 5 straight seasons averaging a triple-double, and considered the most athletic point guard in the history of the NBA. Yet and still, this video seems long overdue. The reason it wasn't is admitted bias, because before the Lakers, I loved Westbrook as he was one of my favorite players in the league. His tenacity, competitiveness, fearlessness, and belief in himself, even to a fault, is sometimes admirable and respected. But a lot of that has been masked by his, let's call it like it is, horrible play with the Los Angeles Lakers, and it's stunning his growth as a player and tainting his legacy, in my opinion. The Lakers have lost 11 of their last 14 games, including 4 straight. In the last 10 games, the former scoring champion hasn't reached at least 20 points, with a low of 5 points in 29 minutes February 5th against the Knicks. For the last 8 seasons, he's averaged clear above 4 turnovers a game, with a career-high 5.4 in 2017, his MVP season. It's no secret that you have to take the good with the bad when it comes to Russell Westbrook, but I'm sure no one expected him to become this bad with the Lakers, with his best chance to win a championship since going to the finals with OKC and Kevin Durant, and then blowing a 3-1 lead in the conference finals in 2016, again with Kevin Durant, their last time playing together. Since leaving OKC in 2019, Westbrook has played on 3 different teams in the last 3 years, which is shocking. So many teams have let the triple-double king go, and it seems he's headed for that very inevitable as soon as this season with the Lakers ends. Would have been sooner had Westbrook had a contract that could be movable, but with his $44 and $47 million owed to him over the next 2 seasons and only a few players matching that salary, looks like the team is stuck with him for the foreseeable future. What does that mean for LeBron James? Will he stick around and not give himself another shot at winning? Or will he ring chase another championship elsewhere and taint his legacy even further by joining another fully loaded team to win while taking all the glory? Sadly, I don't see LeBron playing anywhere but the Lakers for the next few seasons, meaning he's either stuck with Westbrook miraculously begins playing better, or a team bails them out and agrees to match Westbrook's contract in a trade. Either way, Russell Westbrook, at just 33 years old, was not expected to have this big and soon of a fall off, and here are 3 reasons why I believe his growth was stunted. Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Russell Westbrook is a 6'3" point guard from Long Beach, California that grew up in Hawthorne and had a late start to being the dominantly athletic player you and I are familiar with today. It took him almost his entire high school career to grow to a respectable point guard height, and wasn't until the summer before his senior year that he gotten his first scholarship offer. He averaged 25.1 points, 8.7 rebounds, 3.1 steals, and 2.3 assists as a senior, and chose UCLA as his college choice in 2006. Coach Ben Howland recruited Westbrook himself with the only promise that he'd have to come in and fight for everything he got. To Westbrook, say less, right up his alley. He averaged just 3 points a game as a freshman in only 9 minutes, as Howland was a player upperclassman type of coach, and also no player by himself were more important than the team. Even as a sophomore in a starting role, he still only attempted 8 shots a game and averaged 12.7 points, 4 assists, and 1.6 steals, becoming the Defensive Player of the Year before deciding to head to the NBA. Stunt number 1, the Westbrook mentality. Let's begin here, because to me, this is where it all goes downhill for Russell Westbrook. As talented a player he is, Russ's biggest issue that has him in the position he's in today, where the Lakers clearly understand this was a bad idea, is that Russell Westbrook doesn't understand what he's doing wrong, so he's unable to get himself out of his own way to have success at this stage of his career. You've heard of being confident, but have you heard or seen examples of a player that's maybe overly confident and it get in his way? Well, that's Russell. He believes in himself so much that he can't fathom the idea of him not playing well is one, a real thing, or two, that it's because of him. With this mentality, along with youth, along with playing on teams that really weren't going anywhere, Westbrook excelled. As soon as it was time to play for championships, he was exposed as a player that's unable to adjust his mentality and direct it to where it should be, which is a player that can control his own pace, protect the ball at all costs, and play complement to LeBron and AD instead of their equal, even though he's arguably in that same league. Since OKC and joining Kevin Durant, who's a top 5 player ever, Westbrook has thought of himself as on that same level, and that's fine. It's when he begins to think he's clearly better than players like KD or LeBron, Harden, or even AD, where he's totally out of control and starts to take bad shots at ill-advised times instead of deferring to those guys and using his other attributes to accessorize. His mentality also allows him to come back the next game and make the same mistake time and time again because it's never his own fault, or at least he doesn't accept it as that when it's clearly always been him. That strong-minded mentality worked to make him a special high school player, to high-level college program, to top 5 NBA draft pick and league MVP, but it's the very thing late in his career that's playing a huge role in stunning his growth. Stunt number 2, Westbrook's basketball IQ, which plays right into this. Another huge growth stunt keeping Westbrook from becoming the player he wants to and should have been by now is that he's probably the worst decision maker of any superstar I've ever seen, with James Harden right behind him. The turnovers he makes are just laughable and have even been given their own highlights section on sports shows. I've never seen anything like this before, where a player can shoot the ball over the square that far off to where he hits the top of the glass and on multiple occasions like Westbrook does. He's out of control on pretty much every possession, and the passes he attempts to make rarely have a shot at making it through, yet he tries and tries to make them, and it demoralizes his team to the point they end up losing a lot of games they should easily win. A perfect illustration of this poor IQ, and when I knew it was over for Westbrook, was him on the Rockets in the bubble playoffs Game 1 versus the Lakers. He hits a 3 and begins shouting like they just won the series, only it was Game 1, and the Lakers would go on to win 4 straight from there to close his team out 4 games to 1. That very play woke the Lakers up, and all thanks to Westbrook not understanding that you want to let a tired, fat giant sleep. When the job is done, you can boast and brag. Not during the first game and go on to lose 4 straight. With his IQ, it's surprising he even did this well as a player in the NBA, but that's just the thing. He's so talented that he can still survive and excel even though his IQ is all-time grade level low. A smarter Westbrook with all his natural talent and competitiveness could have been the best player ever. Stunt number 3, playing with LeBron James. I, for one, hated when it was decided Russell Westbrook would team up with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, but more specifically LeBron. Just ask D-Wade, Chris Bosh, Kevin Love, and even Kyrie Irving. All those guys' careers were affected negatively in one way or another by playing with LeBron, some more than others. D-Wade kinda needed LeBron with his knees getting old fast, so he wasn't affected as much. But a Chris Bosh or Kevin Love, they were made to look like role players at best alongside LeBron, and Kyrie Irving has never recovered from playing alongside and then leaving the way he did. The thing is, LeBron is too great, and too many want him to be better than Michael Jordan. Therefore, he can do no wrong in more cases than not. It's mostly his teammates that didn't step up, and the excuse of him not having a good enough team. At least that's what the media sees, and Russell Westbrook is no different. Yes, he's struggling and playing horrible at times, but I have to blame LeBron's leadership or lack thereof equally. LeBron has yet to directly defend Westbrook in the media and champion him as a player he could win with. With the sports world against Russ right now, that'll mean a lot to a guy I'm sure hears the noise of him underperforming. Thing is, it's not going to get better. As long as he's next to LeBron, he'll be the main reason that team isn't winning. Because of his play, of course, but also because the scapegoat you become playing as a star on LeBron's team in his quest to become GOAT. It's toxic around LeBron, just like KD said. For a guy like Westbrook who can see, hear, and feel he isn't wanted anymore, it may be the way his legacy ends. All in all, Russell Westbrook is a talented player that was the epitome of the new age point guard. But him unable to adjust mentally, low basketball IQ, and teaming up with LeBron are all but killing his legacy, even though he's solidified as a first ballot Hall of Fame player. He's been one of the most exciting players to watch, but for these reasons, his growth is being stunted. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth, and I'm out.